This is a commission that I've already chalked, inked, and now I'm gonna be color blocking. So let's get to it. So here's the bonus content. Hi, I'm Julia Veenstra. I'm a Canadian artist. And here on YouTube, I coach, I teach, I show you how I paint. So stay tuned for that bonus content and let's get back to the video. My battery died. Just as I was finishing. Oh, no, it's still alive. Okay, I have just put on the French cleats to this brand new commission. So I have to get this done in the next few weeks. This has been, I'm working with a gallery and they have a client who likes a piece that I have that has sold. So I'm going to be doing a revisit and creating a whole new piece based on that, including a few things that they like of another painting and excluding a few colors that they don't like. Like, we can do a custom, but they still do trust the process and they still trust my artistic integrity to get it done. So I've put some French cleats on this. So I'm gonna put it up on the wall and let's see where it goes. Okay, as always, I have my canvas painted red, primed and painted red. I'm using a canvas, this was a custom made canvas, and I've used a canvas that had been misprinted from my printer. It's the exact same canvas that I would buy at a Michael's or an art store. Decor is what I usually use. But I've primed over the misprint so that we just don't waste. He and I have come to a conclusion that it's better to not waste. I don't need a pure white canvas for this. Having a little bit of a print on it that I gessoed over and then I painted red is not going to interfere at all. And hey, we're saving the planet. So now I'm going to chalk out my image. I always struggle with this printer, figuring out how to get it online, figuring out how to get my phone to print. And look, it's printing really strangely. It's printing right to the edge. So I think it's cut off a little bit, but it doesn't matter because I am going to be revisiting this painting anyway. I've got my coffee, I've got my printout reference photo, and I'm going to just chalk this on now. Good morning. Cheers. So this dimension is a little wider. So I'm going to be adding more trees, more life, and more, the composition is going to be different. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, does it look like much? Can you see it? I think so. I think you can kind of see where I'm going. So now I'm going to take a burgundy paint and I'm going to ink it in. Then you'll be able to see, I'll solve a whole bunch of problems at this point in the composition, okay? I put some burgundy paint in the bottom of an empty jug, tub for paint. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to thin this, and then I'll use it on the painting. I don't thin my paint while I'm painting. I use it right out of the tube. I don't really use any mediums while I'm painting either. This is the only time that I thin paint. So let's get this painted in. I have used a burgundy paint to what I call ink in most of my shapes. So the things that I'm really looking at here from the reference photo that I'm using is the divisions of the page. I like my shapes to all have a variety. I don't want each tree trunk to be equidistant from each other. I don't want them all to be lined up. I want there to be a variety of things. There's going to be trees that are in the background. There's going to be trees that the branches are in the foreground. I have a little tree here that's very front and center, and then there's a whole bunch of trees here that are front and center, and it's almost like we're going in. And the lady had said something about a stream. So now I have to go back and read the email. And I might add a little bit of water in here. So let me go check the email and then we'll get back to this. I'm thinking that the customer must mean anything that's blue down here might be a stream. So I think I will add what I could make as a stream and identify it even a little bit more since she made mention of it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that stream kind of as if it's weaving its way a little bit down here. And we'll see how, yeah, that works, doesn't it? Okay, so now it's gonna be time for the color blocking after this inking in stage dries. So this is a favorite day. This is a day that I've come in after the day that I had a palette ready day. So yesterday I had come in and I got a palette ready and I finished, actually, no, yesterday was self-care day. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the day before I had got a fresh palette ready. I finished a few 12 by 12 paintings and I worked on another painting that I might work on that today with you. There's something I really want to do to it. And I want to show you that. So stay tuned to the end. I think I'm going to work on that later. And I love when I get to come in and I color block, or I start a commission, I start this commission, but I start to get right to it without having to chalk it in, ink it in, and then go get my palette ready. It is the worst job. I don't like getting my palette ready. I love it when I open a fresh palette. This is, again, my resealable Magello, M-I-J-E-L-L-O, and I absolutely love it. So I had misted this down before I closed it, and everything's really nice and fresh. So I had an amazing week last week, and I was in Kelowna. I got to, here, let me get some paintbrushes so I can get started. I'll continue talking. But I was in Kelowna for visiting my grandkids, and it was lovely. It was lovely. And I painted at Hambleton Gallery, and so many people came in. I was there scheduled from 10 until 2, and I got there at 10, and there were already 10 people lined up from an art group in Kelowna, and I was thrilled. Hello, if you're watching. They said they watched me on YouTube, so I think it's Darla is the leader, and she's going to be connecting with me about doing a class in Kelowna. But then the next day, actually the Thursday of that week, I went in and just to visit Betty from Canmore Gallery. Her son runs Hambleton, so she was there visiting. So I popped in to say hello, and a lovely lady named Colleen, hi Colleen, came in to visit just to stop in. She had thought she had missed me and I just happened to be there. So we had a really fun conversation, and now she and I are talking about doing a class. So guys, if you want to fly me in, I'll go. I'll come. I will teach the whole process. It's a 4 to 5 hour class that I do. I coach you through your own image. It's not a class where I bring the image and you guys paint along with me. It is a class where I teach my process, I teach composition, I teach color blocking and how I apply paint, but I coach you through your own image. So if that's interesting to you, I'm interested in traveling. Let's do it. If you cottage for the summer and you want to host me and all your friends from the cottages around you, let's do it. So anyway, that's so fun. If you live in Europe, yeah, fly me in. I'll do it. So we're going to have so much fun with that. This might be a whole new thing. I used to teach in my studio, and then it just got a little bit too much for me. My studio was too small, but I've come back to teaching, and I've taught a couple of classes at Crown and Press, and people have really enjoyed them. So I think that might be a really fun thing. So now we're going to color block. You know what? I got to turn my lights on. There. Now I can see better. I wonder if you can see better. I don't know. But I'm going to start the color blocking. I probably am going to turn on my Netflix so that I have, you know, something kind of to listen to while I'm color blocking. And then I'll do a voiceover for this part to talk about what I'm doing. Okay. So again, had a great week. I was in Kelowna, came back. Seems like everything is chaos. The yard is not done. That's Saturday, but we're having 20 freaking degree days. Like, what is up with a 20-degree day in November? 20 degrees Celsius. And but I'm going to be doing some gardening on Saturday. I've hired some help to come in. We're going to try to put the garden to bed, but some trees haven't even lost their leaves. My husband is one of those grumpy guys that says the leaves aren't all down. Why are we doing this? I like to do it in stages so it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming. Plus, I like to mulch up my leaves with the lawnmower and put them back into the garden bed. Do you do that? What do you do for your fall cleanup? So here we go. Let's get to painting this and let's have some fun. Ask any questions you have below. If you see something, I'll try to talk through it. I might put some music on for the voiceover as well. Who knows what I'll do? This YouTube thing, it's fun. Let's get to it. I've talked enough, right? Okay, I'm turning on my YouTube. I'm turning on my own YouTube to listen to.
Today is Wednesday, November 6th.
Shepherd's Fashions in Ottawa.
Today is a party party, so you're in.
Okay. I had to add a little bit more quinacridone magenta to my palette. I'm building all of my divisions and getting my my flow, my shape. So you can kind of see, I'm liking it. I'm looking at it in the camera here, and I am liking how I'm getting this flow up in here, the divisions of these branches up in here to make it very interesting. We've got sky here, and then I have to remember that I have to make it kind of look like there's a stream there. So I went to get, but this is a treat. I went to get my magenta, my quinacridone magenta, and I found the quinacridone. This is it. This is all I got of quinacridone burnt orange. They discontinued this brand. It was a car paint, and apparently this color is no longer popular. And the person who, the company that made the color initially for everybody else has stopped making it. I'm very sad. If you have quinacridone burnt orange that is still viable and you would like to sell it to me, please just let me know. But this is all I have left. So I'm gonna add some to my palette. It's a treat. I'm gonna really be precious and sparing with this. Yeah, it's so bad, it's so sad. One of my, the gallery owner that I was at, he found a recipe for making it from the golden manufacturer. So I'll have to try this recipe, but there's a translucency about this. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. Oh well. All right, back to work. Oh, before I get back to work, I did want to say, the way I pick up paint, if you're new here, the way I pick up paint is, I take my brush, I have my palette all laid out, hot mess, I know, right? I have my palette all laid out, and I pick up various colors and I smush it onto the canvas, and I don't mix anywhere. I let all the colors kind of blend and show up. It is a really great technique for bark, for rocks, for trees, for everything actually, I find. It gives a lot of vitality and life and not just flat color. So there's that tip on how I do that. Maybe what I'll do is show you somewhere. Yeah, I'll do that. Let me see if I can move this camera. Get in nice and close. What I'll do is I'll go over this big tree and show you. Okay, so I'm gonna go over that big tree with a little bit of the new quinacridone that I've got, a little bit of gray and a little bit of turquoise. So there's the hot mess on my brush. And all I do is get here and smush it on, move around my brush so that it looks like bark. I hope you can see that. I will focus in when I'm editing to make sure that you can see that. Let me use some lighter colors there so that maybe you can see better. Okay, I'm using a little bit of lighter color, but I love what I just did here. There we go. Twisting and everything. And so that made a highlight on that tree. And there we go. Okay? All right, I'm getting too lost in the sauce. When I'm color blocking right now, I tend to start with my very darks. I put in the darkest greens. I tend to use turquoise and green gold and a teal, and I kind of start blocking in those darker colors. I squint at my image. Now, because I'm using a reference of a painting that I've done already, I kind of am going back and forth looking at the reference material and the painting and just putting in some of the main darks that I find. And it's always really fun to revisit a painting, because sometimes I check out my own strokes and go, oh, I wonder how I thought of that. So here I think I'm identifying some of the brighter lights. When I paint with red, this is always very interesting. When I paint with red, it doesn't really show up on the red until I start putting in the background color. And you'll see later how that red starts popping and when I start putting in the colors that go around it. And it's really a study in lights and darks. So you're just going to be watching me fully color block this piece using that French cleat to its benefit. So instead of bending down and hurting my back, I've just lifted up the painting onto the up one rung and or one ledger, and I will be able to put in or paint at a level that is more accessible for me. So this lady, the original painting had a lot of yellow. She's not really into the yellow, so I've kind of trying to eliminate the yellow. I will use a little bit here and there. She really likes the dark blues and the navy blues, so I'm trying to concentrate and making sure that happens as well. And I tend to paint all over. So you'll notice that I step back a lot. And that's just to kind of do an overview and check it out, see where the balance is, get color in, and fully block and do color stories. So I like the blue to travel around. All around the painting, all the colors that I use, I like to have what I call a story, a trail that you can kind of follow it through that won't jar you out of the painting. Like all of a sudden there's only red, on the far left and your eye goes right there and then out of the painting and never travels back. So as I'm stepping back, I'm doing lots of that kind of work. And yeah. So I will be quiet now and let you watch the rest of this. I do cut back in and do some chatting again, but I hope you're enjoying this.
I find a big tote like this is so modern. Yeah. Right, really modern. All the rounds with some balances it. Yeah, exactly.
I have to add some more green gold, which is my favorite green, to my palette. And I thought, this is what I use to dig my paint out of my tubs. I tried popsicle sticks and things like that, but this just works great. I'm taking it out of the lid. This just works great to add to my palette. I can scrape it off. It's flexible. And then I just soak it and all the paint comes off. Just a tip. Just bonuses for you. Okay. This is fully color blocked. So I'm going to take the camera off the stand and I'll hand hold the camera and I'll show you what I've done and where it's at and what I think, okay? Here is the painting, all color blocked. Okay, so I'm trying to talk and think at the same time as to what you can see here. I am really quite enjoying it. Now, acrylic dries darker, so I'm going to have to let this dry for a day or two and then come back in, and it will give me, you know, the final dried colors. And then I will, you know, add my light and the push and the pull and bring some of the branches even more forward and backwards. So we have an indication of, you know, water or a stream down in there. I might do a boulder or something in the background. But what I'm really loving about this, I'm really loving the division of the branches up here. What you can see is these, you know, this division. It gives this top a very interesting, almost stained glass look. But what I've tried to do is make every negative space in between the positive branches an interesting shape and varied from the others. So the blue story in this painting, you know, travels all around. I think it healthily pops your eye around, as does the red. There's no area, I mean, we've got the center red there, which I might calm down a little bit, but we've got the center red, but the red is being popped all around the painting. So what I've done is I've simply used, and I don't know if you noticed, I used a couple of sized brushes. I used a bigger brush and then a smaller one for some finer definitions. But as you can see, all of my strokes, you know, there's different colors of paint in them, and I'm building and smooshing, and I'm actually quite excited. There's areas that are a bit muddy right now, and that's going to be the next stage. And I won't leave all these branches just burgundy. They'll get some highlights and things like that. But down here, I love, there's bigger trunks, there's smaller trunks, and then there's a movement. Now I am seeing in the camera, there's a strong tree here, a strong tree here, and a strong tree here. And I don't like the fact that those are evenly divided. So I probably will add another branch and maybe make this tree a little bit stronger going up. That will solve that. So there you go. There is a color blocked piece. It's a commission that I'm redoing for the client. And there is the initial painting. They didn't want as much yellow, so I've taken out yellow, and they really like the blue. And there is my hot mess of a palette. Okay, I'm gonna show you something else, so stay with me. I'm working on this painting of this little island. This is in BC, in Tofino, and I'm working on this island, and I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm finished a lot of it. I have some work to do down here. You can see it's kind of just, it's not really high contrast or anything, and I need to do a few things with some bigger strokes down here to really push. I've got a drip happening here that I don't usually leave drips in my painting, but I kind of am liking it. So I think I might do that. But I think the thing I wanted to show you right now is that I wanted this tree to stand out more. And what I'm going to do is simply paint it lighter blue. And again, I use all the different blues in my strokes so that it's not just, you know, one solid color, but I want it to pop out. So I think what I'm going to do, here, let me get over here. And hold my, there we go. I paint more to the right than to the left. We're gonna just pop this little guy. So that, that's it, that's what I needed. We'll give some depth with some different blues in him, in the tree, to show shadow and things like that. But I think that is what we needed for depth to bring this little guy forward so that he's not just so blended in with the background. Yeah, I kind of like that. Do you see it? And then I want to pop this little guy too. Let's give him it just kind of pops it forward, but now it's speaking to something else. And now I need to do just a little bit of highlight. And just bring that forward. And I think that's it. Oh, now I gotta do something else. I'm gonna just make this a little bit darker. In back here. And I think that solves it. But again, I'm gonna leave that again till tomorrow. Let that dry and see where that goes. And now I'll work on the bottom, crisp it up, but I think it's almost done. And then when the varnish goes on, all the rich colors just come to life and forward. I don't know what it is about that varnish, but it's magic. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video today. Like and subscribe for more. Give me your comments. Ask me what I was thinking about things, if I can tell you. And we'll see you in the next video.